namely Republic of Angola, Republic of Burundi, Central African Republic, Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya, Republic of Rwanda, South Sudan, Republic of Sudan, United Republic of Tanzania, Uganda, and Republic of Zambia. Today we are gathered to discuss a very important issue in the calendar of ICGLR. As you are aware that ICGLR has 12 protocols which it pursues. These are Protocol on Non-Aggression and Mutual Defense in the Great Lakes region, Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance, Protocol on Judicial Cooperation, Protocol on Prevention and Punishment of Criminal Genocide, War Crimes, and Crimes against Humanity, and all forms of discrimination. ICGLR also have the Protocol on the Illegal Exploitation of Natural Resources, which is one which brings us here. We also have a protocol on the prevention and punishment of sexual violence against women and children. However, today, what assembles us on this platform is to discuss this critical initiative around natural resources. On the panel today, I have eminent colleagues who have massive experience around the issues of combating the illegal exploitation of natural resources. For ICGLR, our point of departure is to ensure that our natural resources do not find themselves in wrong hands, hands which perpetuate conflict and violence in the region. For us, our task is to ensure that natural resources are mined responsibly, are transported responsibly, and they contribute to the welfare of the citizens of the region. With that said, I would like to mention that we have translation in French and Portuguese. If you have any concerns, please make sure that you send us your comments in the chat box. However, we'll be happy also to know where you are coming from by please telling us your name, the country, and the organization you are representing. With that said, I'll move very fast to sharing the agenda for today. With my introduction and also opening of this session and explaining the purpose of the webinar, I'll go straight into introducing the panel for the first session. Thereafter, we'll have a discussion and Q&A. The second session is being handled by my dear colleague and brother, Mr. Satish Basu from India. He will look into the issue of regulatory frameworks and gold importation rules. He will introduce his panel. Thereafter, we'll have an open discussion and Q&A session. The third session is being moderated by my colleague, Julia Maria Fraser, from GIZ. She will take us through the panel, introduce her panel, and also conduct and have a Q&A. Before that, we can have a break of 5 minutes or so. Then we'll have a summary and closing remarks. That's pretty much what we have today as we set pace for the year and to kick off our webinar today. And in the interest of time, we're going to show you a video which summarizes what we do as ICGLR, which summarizes our work around the issue of the regional initiative on natural resources. Please, this video will explain everything of what we do and give us your
comments. Nous synthétisons notre travail autour de l'explication de ce que nous devons faire dans la vidéo, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup. Et ceci va être présenté dans une vidéo. Merci beaucoup.
Electric vehicles, laptops, mobile phones, these high-tech gadgets are revolutionizing our century. Behind those technological marvels lie essential minerals found in the Great Lakes region, such as
les véhicules électriques, les laptops, les téléphones mobiles, des équipements techniques qui sont révolutionnaires dans révolutionner notre siècle.
There is a much darker reality.
Derrière ces minéraux, des minéraux qu'on trouve dans
plague the Great Lakes region, already struggling with recurring social conflicts, geopolitical tensions, and humanitarian crises. On December 15, 2006, the 12 member states of the ICGLR adopted a regional protocol to combat the illegal exploitation of natural resources. The goal? To end the financing of rebel groups through revenue from mineral resources. To turn the protocol's commitment into specific actions, the ICGLR implemented the regional initiative against the illegal exploitations of natural resources. These operational frameworks aim to enhance traceability, transparency, and governance in the region's mining sector. This initiative is built around 6 key tools designed to regulate the mining sector and combat illicit mineral trade. Mandatory certification for 3 TG minerals such as tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold, which are crucial to industries such as electronics, aerospace, automotive, and jewelry. 2. Harmonization of legislation. Member states align their law to establish a coherent and effective regulatory framework for the mining sector. 3. Regional mineral flow.
bon pour le secteur minier.
Integrating artisanal miners into a regulating system to secure their work and prevent black market activities. 5. Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Member states commit to transparency by publishing contracts and revenues from their extractive sectors. 6. Rapid Alert Mechanism. A platform for citizens to report illegal activities and human rights violations in mining areas. Fighting the illegal exploitation of natural resources is a collective responsibility. Governments, businesses, and citizens all have a role to play. To obtain authorizations for issuing certificates, member states must meet essential conditions. Establish national legal and regulatory frameworks for implementing the LCM. Develop an institutional framework that includes mine site inspections and mineral supply chain monitoring. Create procedural instruments and manuals such as inspection sheets. Implement a regulatory framework for mineral traceability systems. Set up a national mineral flow database linked to the regional database at the ICGLR Secretariat. Enforce export procedures that comply with LCM standards for issuing ICGLR certificates. To this day, 5 member states, which means DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania and Uganda, have adhered to the LCM. Before the ICGLR regional certification mechanism, local exporters struggle with credibility, often seen as fueling conflicts. By adopting LCM standards, certified companies strengthen governance, enhance transparency, and align with international best practices. This transformation boosted their reputation, secured operations, and improved global market competitiveness. Let's work together towards a transparent, sustainable mining sector that drives development in the Great Lakes region.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. I thought I'm hopeful that the video has given you a lot of insights of what ICGLR is doing around the issue of natural resources and also the mitigation of our natural resources falling into wrong hands. To further discuss this important subject matter, the first session will actually focus on that specifically, and I'm happy to introduce the panel for today, my speakers for today. We have Mr. Gerard Nel Burundi, we have Mr. Philip Kiru, and Madam Grace Nasuna, and I'll briefly share with you their vast experience around this matter. As I said, this session focuses on the regional efforts to combat the illegal exploitation of natural resources through policy implementation, oversight, and strategic initiatives. So to set the ball rolling, I have with me Mr. Nel Burundi. He is the regional coordinator of the Natural Resources Unit at the International Conference on the Great Lakes region here in Bujumbura. He leads the technical team in providing technical and advisory support to ICGLR member states in the implementation of the regional initiative on natural resources and in the monitoring of the implementation of this initiative. Mr. Nel Burundi has vast experience both in public and private sector. He has skills in policy design, planning, and management. He also holds a master's degree in physical land resource and also has over the years been our guru in spearheading this initiative. He has seen under his tenure 3 countries assent to the initiative, to the issuance of ICGLR certificate, and he has guided these countries through the process. I'm happy to introduce to you Mr. Nel Burundi as he discusses the role of ICGLR in the fight against the illegal exploitation of natural resources through our regional certification mechanism. And I'm giving him 10 minutes to take us through and set the ball rolling. Mr. Nel Burundi, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, moderator. Good morning. I don't know if it must be also good afternoon for some of the participants. So my role is to introduce to you or to explain what the ICGLR as an organization has been up for the last 10, 15 years with regard to the fight against illegal exploitation of natural resources. So I will start with the legal background. But that's where the whole process started in the rule of law environment. When it is clear that everything has to be established, should have a legal basis to move ahead. So in 2006, the ICGLR member states, the heads of states signed of the pact on peace, security, stability in the Great Lakes region. And this pact was a determination of our leaders to work together collectively to address underlying issues or root causes of conflicts in the region. And in this pact, one of the 10 protocols which are part of the pact is the protocol on the fight against the exploitation of natural resources. And this was motivated by the fact that it was proven that conflicts or some causes of conflicts were were finding their origins from the way we manage our natural resources. As you know, this region is endowed with plenty of resources. There was then a need to have a clear framework, legal framework, and a clear framework to manage rationally the resources. So this pact came in to address this issue. Then later in 2010, based on the same legal document, the protocol, our heads of states adopted what we call the Regional Initiative on Natural Resources, which encompasses 6 thematic areas of interventions. And then this is the initiative I would like to take you through for our stakeholders to understand where we came from and how we are moving forward. Can you go back? Can you go back? So this is the technology. So so with regard to the Natural Resources Initiative, as I said, the initiative was adopted by the heads of state in 2010, and this initiative outlines a series of actions which are needed to translate the Great Lakes region rich mineral resources from a source of profit into a catalyst for development. So the aim goal or the ultimate goal that this region wants to achieve is to make sure that the resources, the revenues from these resources benefit the population, the citizens of this region, instead of contributing to destroying their community, to destroying their well-being. So we have a monitoring and evaluation framework, because as individuals also mentioned, the heads of state summit is the one who provided the political commitment, political guidance also, and so far we have been the heads of state have been meeting in the ordinary summits or special summits to discuss issues around natural resources. The same for the regional interministerial committee, which is a council of ministers of foreign affairs, who are the senior most executive body of the ICGLR. The second level below is the ministers of mines council, which is there to provide strategic resolutions and also directives, and they have been meeting quite a bit regularly every 2 or 3 years to provide guidance based on the recommendations provided by from the senior technical body with the regional committee on natural resources, which so far has already held about 29 meetings since 2009. Okay, so I'm sure people are very eager to know what are these 6 tools. So these are the 6 tools we have been implementing or since 2010, and the first and the core one is the regional certification mechanism. In fact, this is the framework, the mechanism which is even provided for in the protocol. The other 5 tools or thematic areas are
spécifique. Alors, nous avons du côté, nous avons l'harmonisation des législations nationales et aussi la formalisation des ACMS. Et je sais bien que ces outils sont vraiment très clairs pour les gens qui sont dans le secteur. Par exemple, le chargé des ressources humaines. Alors, les législations donc, la législation nationale, l'harmonisation des législations nationales, il devrait y avoir
we have also the regional
donc des bases de données et un outil qui a l'intention d'être capable de suivre et aussi donner des nouvelles, des informations à jour sur la manière dont les minéraux sont exploités et aussi commercialisés dans la région. Premièrement, à partir du niveau local, et au niveau de la société, au niveau jusqu'au niveau national et aussi, enfin, au niveau de la région. Et c'est des bases de données très importantes lorsqu'il est question maintenant de faire le suivi. Donc, chaque acteur dans le secteur sur dans la chaîne d'approvisionnement, qui est dans la chaîne d'approvisionnement, est-ce qu'il est légalement, donc il est en train de faire le commerce, c'est vraiment légalement accepté pour donc le minerai. Ça, ce sont des informations qui sont supposées être collectées et aussi dans la base de données. Enfin, nous avons aussi le mécanisme qui est un outil qui est supposé donner des opportunités aux citoyens individuels et au niveau local et aussi, donc chaque fois, minier. Alors, je vais maintenant vous présenter justement les mécanismes spéciaux. Donc, je ne voudrais pas, pour l'intérêt de gagner du temps, je ne vais pas présenter tous ces 6 outils, mais je vais vous présenter seulement de façon détaillée le premier mécanisme spécial. Ici, je vais, pour comprendre exactement ce qu'il en est, principalement. Alors, ça, c'est une norme régionale. C'est conçu pour donc pour certifier les minéraux qui sont exploités, commercialisés, exportés dans les États, à partir des États membres de la CIRGL. Et aussi, ça cible seulement les articles, les minéraux comme les 3T, c'est-à-dire les 3T. Et aussi dans les États, l'essence de ce mécanisme de certification, c'est de donner, permettre pour les industries pour être capable d'avoir des ressources à partir de cette région. Et aussi, nous sommes en train d'essayer de voir, de répondre justement aux différentes exigences mais aussi donc l'orientation au niveau de délibération de et alors il y a beaucoup d'autres qui sont en train donc ils vont être intégrés ici, mais nous sommes aussi en connexion avec l'Inde et ils ne vont pas parler dans cette webinaire, mais ils vont toucher d'autres destinations. Donc, pour les exigences, donc certaines exigences, par exemple, avec le DMCC, donc et d'autres. Ainsi, et ça devrait être rendu, présenté au clair que le mécanisme ça est mis en œuvre par les États membres. Et ça, c'est vraiment très important. Et ici, je voudrais bien donc vous informer certaines des parties prenantes qui ont été donc actifs et qui ont été au niveau du bureau régional. Alors, c'est pas n'émet pas de certificats, certificats sont mis au niveau des États membres parce que ce sont les États membres qui, c'est leur rôle de mettre en œuvre, mais aussi de prouver que donc tout argent qui est utilisé transitant dans leur territoire sont, donc sont exportés légalement. Alors, il y a un processus, il y a une série d'étapes donc, qui sont impliquées dans ce mécanisme. Alors, la première étape dans le processus, les sites miniers qui produisent des minerais sont supposés être inspectés, vérifier le nombre d'exigences. Si ceci, ça existe, donc ça répond au mécanisme régional et à partir de ce site, chaque minerai étant exploité et exporté, donc qui est lavé et commercé et
Okay. Once again, we are facing technological challenges, but we hope we will be there. So I will start to explain the different components of the certification mechanism, and I was at the third level, which is the third part audit requirements. So that's where now the ICGLR as a regional body comes in through our member states and private sector and civil society organization composed audit committee to check and to now to do the audit over exporters and check whether the minerals that are being exported have followed or have respected all the requirements upstream, that is mine site inspection and also chain of custody system. It is after confirmation that the exporters have been cleared by this audit committee that member states can now issue an ICGLR certificate to an individual shipment, not to an exporter, but to an individual shipment. And so across this chain, all the information generated throughout this process needs to be collected and stored in the national and the regional database. So far we have these 5 countries, member states, which are currently implementing the certification mechanism. The first one is DRC, which started in 2013. Second one is Rwanda, which joined the process 4 months later, and later in the 2019 it is Burundi. Later on, 2020, Tanzania, and recently Uganda is also implementing the certification mechanism. And these are the certificate templates that are being used by these different countries to certify that mineral shipments are being handled and traded according to these international and regional requirements. Very briefly, I will talk about the gold. Gold has been given us special attention because with the current design of the certification mechanism, it has been difficult for the region to certify, to track gold and certify, especially ASM gold shipments, simply because of the reason that most of us know that gold has got high value to volume ratio, making it very difficult to track. So in order to be able to address this, there are some requirements that are supposed to be met, and these are being articulated in the ICGLR strategy to be able to address the SM Gold challenges or certification challenges. The 5 requirements are supposed to be met, and member states are trying to implement this certification and chain of custody tracking to be in place for SM Gold, but still this process will not be successful unless this SM Gold is also formalized fully, and also at regional level we have a harmonized policy and legal framework, and also we have to have a very robust intra and inter-regional cooperation that's even going beyond the continent, going to India, going to Dubai, to America, to Asia, and in all other regions of the world. And finally, we need to have a better an environment which boosts or which attracts investment, and also which attracts incentives for those actors who are ready to source, to trade and mine SM Gold responsibly. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nao Burundi, for taking us through the role of ICGLR in fighting against the illegal exploitation of natural resources in the region. He touched on the 6 tools for the ICGLR, which are the regional certification mechanism, SAM formalization, EITI, protection of whistleblowing, harmonization of national laws, and the regional database. He also went as far as touching on the procedures which the region, the Great Lakes region, has adopted with regards to adhering to the OECD guidelines. So as we move on, and in the interest of time, our next presenter, who is discussing the role of third-party audit in ensuring compliance and transparency, is our able chairperson of the third-party audit committee of the ICGLR. His name is Mr. Philip Kiuru, Deputy Director of Mines, Directorate of Mines, State Department for Mining for the Republic of Kenya. He's also the head of licensing function. He has 15 years experience in regulatory roles within the extractive industry in Kenya. He also has a massive experience in designing tools and mechanisms to ensure oversight when it comes to mineral rights administration, ensuring compliancy, the design and ensuring adherence of legal frameworks which promote sustainable resource management in the country. His work on a day-to-day basis focuses on mainstreaming licensing processes to reduce costs of production, enhancing transparency, and above all, fostering an enabling environment for the investment in the mining sector in the Republic of Kenya. For us, Mr. Kiuru is our chairperson of the ICGLR Audit Committee, of which he has been in office for the last 1 year, and he has ably guided the committee to design tools and procedures on how to ensure that our third-party audit functions are moving smoothly. He has been instrumental in ensuring that the whole process is cost efficient, and the burden of third-party audit does not fall on the traders in the region, but above all, promotion of the instrument has been his key thrust. I'm happy to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Philip Kiuru. Sir, please take us through your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mali, and the entire team of the ICGLR Secretariat, and our participant for this webinar. I want to thank you for your participation. Yeah, so for me, I will go directly into the discussion on one of the critical tools, which was mentioned by my colleague, Gerard. Okay, I'm trying to put on the video. It's reducing. Okay, so for me, I will go direct into the first tool, that is regional certification mechanism, and to tell you something about the ICGLR Audit Committee, which is the
large committee, which is technical committee para alcançar esse ferramenta.
Committee that
Esse é o committee
look at the nitty-gritty of the
pode
implementation
ver da implementação desse.
Go back to the first slide, please.
Pode ir no primeiro slide.
Okay, the second slide.
O segundo slide.
Okay, so in the initiative of regional initiative
para essa iniciativa contra a exploração ilegal dos recursos naturais, temos 6 ferramentas.
Regional certification mechanism is a key pillar in these tools, and committee that look at the mechanism of the implementation of this tool across the member state in the ICGLR. And ICGLR Audit Committee is the committee that does that. And the committee played that critical role of promoting accountability and credibility of the trade of these critical minerals in the region. You can move to the second slide. And these are just an overview of the work of the committee. First, to do the auditing, the actual auditing on the ground of the mine site and the export process of this mineral, we have to use third-party auditors. The accreditation of these auditors is done by the audit committee through a procedure that's already developed as one of the tools in the manual. Have auditors from across the globe, from the region and from all other parts of the globe, who have expressed interest and they have been accredited to be able to carry out these auditing exercise. The work of the committee as well is to monitor the performance of those auditors, to assign them audit exercise and to look at their work, to review their reports and to ensure that it meets the required standard. And the committee will go ahead and advise the various member states and the miners and the exporters on the requirement where there is corrective action required. It will be the work of the committee to convey that requirement. Go to the next slide. So the committee is contributing in the implementation of this regional certification mechanism to give it the credibility and to make sure it meets the regional and international standard, and to ensure that there is credibility of the whole process of this regional certification. I think I've already mentioned that the committee oversee the accreditation of the third-party auditors, and also look at the reports which details the transaction done by the various miners and the exporters, and to ensure that it meets the regional standard set out in this regional certification mechanism. And in doing this, it cooperates with a number of stakeholders, including the entities, the private entities who are managing the chain of custody to ensure there is traceability. So the committee works by collaborating with a number of stakeholders, which I've just mentioned, the third-party auditors, which are accredited professional auditors across the region, and the member state, the various countries who are member state for the ICGLR, and the entities that manages the chain of custody to ensure the traceability process of during the mineral transaction. And they also, the supporting, which was mentioned, the ICGLR Regional Committee. So the work of the ICGLR Audit Committee is also to advise and to provide technical reports and policy recommendation that inform the Regional Committee, the ICGLR Regional Committee, in the implementation of the whole protocol. So in doing our work, we have challenges which is continuously addressed through additional recommendation. One of it is we are working to make sure that all the reports are consistent and it meets the international standard. These are the reports from the independent auditors.
Des éditeurs indépendants. Pour faire cela, on développe des outils. On développe des outils.
Quem vai nos dar luz, quem vai dar durante o trabalho do audito, os diferentes membros dos pares, ou diferentes capacidades fora dos countries. Existem 5 países que implementaram esse processo. O secretário and other groups, outro grupo já trabalha com isso aqui. Outros membros estão tentando implementar esse regional certificado. Nós estamos a ver com o mecanismo. Temos trabalho, nossa recomendação, recomendação que estão dadas pelo auditores.
Corrective actions. So the follow-up is a challenge that we continuously address in our work. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So in conclusion, the ICGLR Audit Committee it's a key technical committee that ensures the actual implementation of the regional certification mechanism. It comes up with the various the actual nitty-gritty actions that need to be done to ensure that this key tool is implemented by coming up with a number of proposals and tools to support the member state in implementation of this tool. And the committee ensures that the whole process of regional certification mechanism and the exports of the critical minerals, which were mentioned by my first figure, meet some certain standard acceptable at the international and even regional level. And the whole key is to ensure that there is a transparency and the mining activity in the region contributes to the economic development within the region. So there is always a need to ensure there is a sustained collaboration. As it was mentioned by my first figure, the actual implementation of regional certification mechanism is done at the member state. So there is a real responsibility. There is a huge responsibility among us, the member state, to ensure that this tool is implemented. Of course, with the support of the ICGLR Secretariat, which they have done a bit of their work. But the very final responsibility is at the member state to conform and to implement all the other supportive tools, including the harmonization of the laws, in order to enable them to implement the regional certification mechanism. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So, participant members, that was a brief overview on the work of the committee. And as I've mentioned, the major work of the committee is to look at the implementation, the actual implementation of the regional certification mechanism tool, a key tool that ensures traceability of minerals mined from the region and exported to the various destinations. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Mr. Kiru. He was discussing the role of third-party audit in ensuring compliance and transparency. For us, the technical committee, third-party audit committee, is very crucial in ensuring that the RCEM is implemented in a manner which promotes the integrity of the process and credibility of the process, and above all, ensuring that transparency is upheld in meeting regional and international standards. Thank you very much for that presentation. I wish to mention to our dear colleagues who are following us, our esteemed participants, that you can hold on to those questions. You can type them in the group in the chat box, and immediately after the last presenter, we'll have a Q&A session. At this moment, I'm delighted to introduce to you our third presenter for this morning. Her name is Commissioner Grace Nasuna from the Republic of Uganda. She is the Assistant Commissioner for Geoscience. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Geology and Chemistry from Uganda, and also a Master's of Science in Geoinformatics from the Netherlands. Madam Nasuna has more than 20 years experience in the mining sector in Uganda, and she has been in the Department of Mines and in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development for the last decade or so, rising through the ranks with distinction and massive commitment and hard work. She was very instrumental to us, to the whole country, when she spearheaded the need for the Republic of Uganda to start the issuance of ICGLR certificates in November 2023. To us, she is a member, a distinguished member, expert member of the ICGLR Regional Committee on the fight against the illegal exploitation of natural resources. She brings on board massive experience in the management of geoinformation systems, geoscience, but above all, in the articulation and ensuring to it that this regional mechanism is moving as designed by our heads of states when it was signed in Lusaka in 2010. I'm glad to introduce the Commissioner to make her presentation this morning. Madam Commissioner, ma'am.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Madam Commissioner. Please carry on.
Please, can you share the slides, Fiona?
On it right now. Slides shared. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As introduced, I'm already Grace from Uganda, and Uganda is implementing the regional initiative against the illegal exploitation of natural resources. We are having challenges. The content of the slide will be just to update you on this of Uganda. How far have we reached on implementing the regional certification mechanism? I would also tell you the challenges as well as the overall, the role of Uganda in combating illegal exploitation of natural resources. Next slide, please. Yes, like I've told you, we are number 5, following DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania in implementing the regional certification mechanism, and we had this on the 29th of November, 2023. Next. As far as the status is concerned, I will just follow the key milestones that we have been able to achieve some output, and those which we have not yet achieved, I'll tell you the status. And concerning tool number 1, which is the regional certification mechanism. The requirements are we must have in place a legal framework, and we have already made the legal framework available. We have the ICGLR Act. This one is a long name, but I abbreviate it to ICGLR. It's ICGLR Act 2018. We have the regulation of 2023, and we have also developed some guidelines to guide miners in certification procedures, what they can do. And we have also made guidelines to the implementation of COC, chain of custody, and as well as some guidelines for the third-party audit. Concerning the institutional framework, we have established the regional certification unit. We have a unit now, and this was developed in 2019 with 10 staff. And one of the challenges is some of the 5 of them have already left. That is the staff tried to maintain, because it was on contract, the staff were on contract, they were not sure that they will have their jobs, so they were not safe. They thought they would join other places in government. Some of them joined other offices in the Ministry of Energy. However, what we have done to address the challenge of understaffing due to contract problems, we have mainstreamed the unit into the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development structure. That is, we have talked to public service to mainstream it, to make it permanent and pensionable. And we also requested for 18 more positions. These positions, the structure has been approved. And we are going to begin recruitment. The third one are the technical tools. We have a mine site inspection checklist, and we also in the law, the regulation behind the regulation, and it is now being used to validate the. So far, we have inspected 10, and we, according to our understanding, it is valid. They are validated yellow. Next slide. Yes, on the continuation of tool number 1, the mineral certification, the regional certification mechanism, the requirement for mineral traceability or chain of custody called mine spider to 18 smelter. This one is also an exporter. We have held discussions with 2 other possible applicants for COC, including the Bank of Uganda. The Bank of Uganda wants to develop to have a private COC to track the gold of the artisanals. This is what they want, their plan, and they have started their initial stages. We do not have a national COC yet, and most of the all the mineral dealers, basically, they don't have COC. However, we plan to implement the national COC under the European Union, German government GIZ project, which has already started and it's ongoing. And we, under the mineral export procedures, we develop procedures for issuing the ICGLR certificates. And with these procedures, we were able to launch the ICGLR. Our first ICGLR system is online. You apply online, you submit all your required documents, COC systems online, and we are able to review it even when we are at home. However, the limitation is staffing to inspect this mine sites, and also to check on the COCs of this private company. We have limited staffing. We would like somebody to be on ground with knowledge to check on the COC daily, but it's not possible due to limited staffing. Next slide. Yes. Tool number 2, harmonization of national legislation ahead. On domestication of the protocol on natural resources, we with the ICGLR Act 2018 and the regulations 2023. And we are not handling only one protocol, we domesticated all. However, our main challenge is weak enforcement due to understaffing. On issue of harmonization of national laws, the Mining and Minerals Act of 2023 was developed including the requirements of ICGLR. So when you check the act, you will see the requirements of ICGLR and procedures and what is expected of you in our act. So our act works hand in hand with the requirements of ICGLR. We have the mining and the mineral licensing regulation. Also, it has requirements that comply to ICGLR standards, and even the license of the COC is also included in our regulations. However, we have done a few regulations. We are still remaining with 7 other applicable regulations. We are about to receive the artisanal regulation. We are going to start on the monitoring and enforcement regulation, health and safety, beneficiation, community engagement, national content, and geoscience scientific services. Those are the ones we have not yet done. However, the project I've told you has expressed their willingness to support us on developing these regulations. So we hope by 2027, these regulations will all be ready. And then the stakeholders' participation. Our stakeholders participate. First and foremost, we have been doing sensitization. In addition, we did a national sensitization workshop and we invited all key stakeholders within the country. We followed it up with regional consultation workshops in the upcountry, 6 regions, to consult the stakeholders at the regions where the minerals are. We are facing the challenge of limited funding. We would have wanted to do more regional consultations, but we did only 6. Next. On tool number 3, the regional database on mineral flows. The national database on mineral flows is not yet done. We don't have it. And due to limited funding, we wanted to do it just in 2018, 2019, but it was affected by COVID. They couldn't do the evaluations. And by the time the evaluations were allowed after COVID, the funds had been returned. So right now we don't have the funds, but the European Union, German government, GIZ, has promised to support us on this. And it has been put under the activities that are to be done. On the operationalization of the national database, not yet, because we don't have the national database, but we already have the terms of references to procure a consultant to design and develop the national database. And these terms of references are going to be edited during this project. We are going to consult other people to review it so that it can follow the guidelines that are okay for ICGLR. However, we have conducted a needs assessment for data digitization, and this has been done this year. We want to know what kind of data we can freely give, because some of it is confidential, but we have decided to know which one we can disseminate and what our other member states may require. We still follow the guidelines of ICGLR, and we have understaffing, which affects the finalization of the databases. The focal persons for the regional database has been nominated. This person was nominated and is working on the issues of the database, stroke digitization. Next. On the tool number 4, formalization of artisanal in mining sector, we have a national plan in line with ICGLR regional guide to ASM formalization, because the Mining and Minerals Act of 2022 is separated the artisanal miners from the small scale by creating an artisanal mining license. Originally, we didn't have a license specific to artisanal, and that's why that loophole made them illegal. They would want to do business, but they couldn't apply for any license apart from the location license, which was also difficult for them. The requirements were a bit difficult, but now we have the artisanal mining license, and we have a small scale mining license. So the two are no longer together, they are separate. And we are registering all the artisanal miners with the tool that we developed. It's a biometric registration of artisanal and small scale miners. It's called the BRASIM system. Here we register all artisanal miners. We check their details, and we do it in the region. We check their country, where are they coming from, and what are they mining. And it's a detailed tool. Are they female, male? It's gender sensitive, and we collect all the data. It is linked to the national identification number of the
elementos
gouvernement. Nous sommes bons avec, nous avons un système déjà en place.
As the implementation of this plan, we have continued training men and women. We have sensitized, and we are consulting them as well, because we want them to give us their views. We want to train them as they ask us questions. To date, we have registered 24 associations, and we have registered 21 gold sites, and 5,944 artisanal and small-scale miners have been registered. We have finalized the draft artisanal mining regulation. It's now with the Ministry of Justice to be finalized, and it shall be returned when the minister signs. In this regulation, we have 49 zones for artisanal mining. They are not going to mine everywhere. They will mine specifically in those zones. And we have put requirements that are simple for them. Understaffing is still the problem, and the online on and off networks are affecting our BRASIM system. So we think we can try to upgrade it and maintain it to work without internet, which is not so easy. And then we have done, sorry, so I was still on this. Okay, next, you could go on the next, the show is not showing properly. You could go on the next slide. Yes, Extractive Industries Transparent Initiative. We have no specific institutional framework for EIT. However, we have nominated 2 focal point persons, and these ones attend meetings together with the EIT Uganda. Uganda is compliant. We joined in 2020, and so far we have 3 reports ready. We are finalizing the 4th report, and as soon as it is ready, it shall be disseminated and published. Next slide. Yes, the whistleblowing mechanism. This is the 6th tool, and we do not have a specific institutional framework for whistleblowing mechanism. We don't have staff to handle this. We have no focal point person for whistleblowing. However, the Whistleblowers Protection Act 2010 is in place. This provides for procedures by which individuals make information, such as in the mining sector. We plan to have this platform, an electronic platform, in the project that which has started. We will be able to put a link or an email, or based on what is available, we will be able to have an electronic platform where people will be able to whistleblow concerning irregularities in the mining sector in Uganda, as well as in the region. Next. Next, yes. So this is cross-cutting issues or elements in the regional initiative. Concerning self-financing mechanism, we are not having this mechanism in place. We don't understand it very well. We need support in this area. If there's any provider that can assist us in implementing this self-financing mechanism, they are welcome. However, we have a national action plan on guidelines for gender. We have a gender strategy specific to the mining sector, which was developed in 2023. And we have collected gender-specific data in the artisanal mining sector under Brazil. The statistics is available for both men and women in which region do they come from. So far, we note that the western region that is bordering Uganda and DRC, Rwanda, and Burundi, it has more artisanal miners, especially those that are crossing from the neighboring and coming into Uganda. We have appointed a gender person. This one is a man, and we would like him to participate in ICGLR gender activities. Yes. Thank you very much for listening to that part of the presentation. Now I go to the next part, which is the role of the member states in combating illegal exploitation. We note that Uganda has managed to control illegal exploitation based on the presentation that I've made through encouraging formalization of artisanal miners. So member states should formalize the artisanal miners. Because we have observed in Uganda that it is difficult to control them. Even if you say no artisanal, in case they discover something, they start mining. Whether you like it or not, they will start immediately. Some of them have been digging graves and they land on gold nuggets. Others are digging pit latrines, they land on gold. They start mining immediately. You cannot stop them. So what we have done is to allow them form associations. We train them on the dangers of illegal mining. We tell them on the advantages of being legal. So we tell them to make associations and cooperatives. Some of them have made associations and cooperatives. And with this license that them, the artisanal small-scale miner, they will be able to get a license and they will be able to upgrade. We are not going to use a stick, but we are going to use the available incentives. In fact, this project which we have, all our support is going with those that are registered. Those that are not registered, they will be thought after they have registered. So encourage them to formalize. We have to reduce conflict across the borders by encouraging use of ICGLR certificates and export permits. We need, those of us that are transit countries, we need to ask for import permits, relevant documents. We should not just allow minerals to cross. We need to be strict and request for the relevant documents. We are collaborating with customs, which is under Uganda Revenue Authority, and we have requested, we are having meetings and we are having links to ensure that the information we have, they also have it, and that the information they have, we also get it. We are sharing information. So staff are being trained on the use of drones to detect illegal activities. They are studying the drones. We have 2 drones and the staff are being trained. So Uganda plans to set up buying centers and mineral markets to be able to track and record sources or origin of minerals. This we benchmarked from Tanzania and we want to implement. So this is the importance of member states. We should learn from each other. And next slide. Our law has been strengthened and we are developing applicable laws with strict penalties for illegal activities or non-compliance. When you open our regulations and the act behind, you will see the offenses and the applicable penalties. And what we do not allow them to go to the next step unless they have paid their fines. If somebody wants to apply for renewal, we will not renew unless you have paid the penalties and the fines. So that is helping us. That's why we are getting them. We also have the Mineral Protection Unit Police to enforce it. The mining community has been consulted and sensitized on the dangers of illegal activities. There is no way member states can do these ICGLR requirements without the communities. If the communities are not aware, they will not be able to control the illegalities. But if they are aware, they will even report community in consultation as well. Tracking of flows of mineral is still a challenge, especially with gold. It is very difficult for us to track the gold. Yeah, we hope that we will need to be advised on new strategies, how to track gold properly. However, we need cooperation between the member states. Let there be cooperation. That's the key word. Thank you very much. Hope you heard everything.
Thank you very much, Madam Commissioner, for taking us through this wonderful journey which the Republic of Uganda has taken when it comes to implementing this regional framework. You have shared the practical aspects of implementing the 6 tools, the challenges involved, and the other processes you have put in place to mitigate those challenges. For us, your story gives us hope that we will, at the end of our mandate, be able to have all the ICGLR member states implementing the regional mechanism. With that said, we'd like to thank you in a special way, and I'd like to, as we go into the open discussion and Q&A session, I'd like to ask those on the platform if they could open up your videos so that our able experts from the media team can take a photo of this wonderful session we're having. So just for the next 3 minutes or so, please have your video open. So we as you're opening your videos, we have questions in the platform, and we continue encouraging members to share those questions. We have a question from Prosper Pilo, who says that the ICGLR framework has been in existence for the last 15 years. We still have wars in the region. We have conflicts in DRC, Sudan, and South Sudan. You would like to find out what the ICGLR is doing to ensure that we assure member states that the initiative is working. And with that, I'll call upon Mr. Gerard Nile Burundi to give us a perspective on that one. As he is preparing to answer that question, we have a question for Mr. Philip. The question is, in the view of the work of the Audit Committee on Transparency, and it's obvious that there have been some audits conducted in the region, can we really have an idea of the real situation on the different chains listed in terms of compliance with the requirements of the OECD guidelines? The other question from Prosper has to do with the forum we had in the DRC in 2023, the SAM God Forum, and he says that during that forum, ICGLR did mention that the initiative was undergoing an evaluation. You would like to find out the status of that evaluation. Prosper, those are good questions, and we assure you that my able team on the panel will be able to respond to those questions. So maybe we can kickstart with Mr. Now Burundi, helping us with the response to the first question. Maybe the technical team can unmute Mr. Now Burundi.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prosper, for these excellent questions. This shows that you are really following on the ICGLR activities. So far to the questions. So yes, it is true that everyone has the right to have their own reading of the situation, and no one will disagree that such an assessment is not correct. Maybe to come to the question specifically, back in 2021, in fact, the ICGLR ministers in charge of mines, upon receiving the report from member states on the implementation of the 6 tools, they had exactly the same feeling that the region and natural sources did not meet the expectations of the region, haven't yet met the expectations of the regions. Hence, they resolved that there should be an evaluation, a detailed evaluation of the level of implementation of the initiative across the region in all member states. And that one is in line with the announcement that the ICGLR made back in 2023 in Kinshasa at the forum, that there was an evaluation which was to take place. And I'm happy to inform you that since November last year, we embarked on that detailed evaluation of the performance of member states in the implementation of the initiative. And here I want to make clear that all stakeholders should be involved. And of course, at different stages of the evaluation. So, for example, now we are now at the level of interviewing and organizing consultations with stakeholders at the national level in different member states. We hope that soon there will be a regional workshop where different stakeholders will be brought together in a room for a number of days to come up with the feedback on the draft report, which will be presented by our independent evaluators. And we thank the GRZ for the support. We are using German and the Netherlands Kingdom money to undertake this evaluation, and we know that soon also we will start to also be using the EU funding to come up with a new phase of implementation of the outcomes of that evaluation. Thank you, and I think by this I have covered the 2 questions. Thank you.
Maybe Mr. Kiru can help us with the 3rd question. What are the indications coming from the audits you have done so far in the region?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mali. I was struggling to unmute. I'm also not able to put on my video. Maybe the host can assist. Okay, let me answer the question on the situation on the audit carried out in the region and the conformity and compliance with the regional certification mechanism. One, we've already seen that there are 5 countries which have already conformed, which started with DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, and then the 4th one, Tanzania, and the last one was Uganda. And all these countries, concerning the 4 conflict minerals, the companies that have been audited and they have applied to be certified with the regional certification mechanism, they follow the criteria, the guideline set in the tool. And let me give the example, the first 3 countries that did conform with the regional certification mechanism. Apart from following the criteria and applying for the certification, they have also implemented the chain of custody system, where they are able to electronically show traceability of mineral as it changes hand from the miners to the dealers who are doing the export. For Tanzania, they are using a manual method, but still sufficient enough to track the change of custody of the mineral products. Uganda, I think they have already mentioned that they are working on their chain of custody system. But the 3 countries that I've just mentioned, Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC, they are able to show even the traceability of minerals which are traded across the border, across the countries. And I mentioned earlier, the real work is with the member state. The facilitation and the policy guidance is from the ICGLR Secretariat, but the implementation of the regional certification mechanism, which we oversee, the real implementation is done by member state, including the engagement of the chain of custody entities, the system vendors. And member states are also allowed to develop their own chain of custody. So for the 5 countries now, the entities which are dealing with these 4 minerals of concern, we've audited their operation. We've audited those exporters who are dealing in those minerals, and they are certified. The certification is normally done in 3 years, and before the expiry, they are supposed to apply for another round of auditing process. And right now we have a sufficient pool of accredited auditors, both from the region and from international, from other side of the globe, who have been accredited by the committee to carry out this exercise. So in general, the audit is on and it's working. And for the companies which have been certified and given the certification, they are able to demonstrate that they are obtaining their commodities in a legal setup, in a legal mine, and they are able to show how the chain of custody of those minerals are carried out. I know, okay, there are a number of challenges, could include the system, the technology system, as mentioned by my sister in Uganda. But overall, the auditing and the certification process is on, and we are able to demonstrate that it's it's achieving the intended vision. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I've answered the question well. In case of any further clarification, I will do. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions, and also thank you to the panelists for responding to those questions. In the interest of time, my team and I are behind the scene responding to your questions. If your question is not responded in the chat box, please flag it out again. If you are not very much satisfied with the response, please make sure that we know so that we're able to provide more information. With that said, I would like to once again thank the panelists, and also, with your permission, we move on to the next presentation. The next segment, the next session is, which is session 2, is looking at regulatory frameworks and gold importation rules vis-a-vis a case study of India. To take us through that presentation, we have our very own able Mr. Satish Baso, the Managing Director of MD Overseas Limited. He is a graduate in business.
De uma empresa, tem diploma em business.
He is currently the president of the Association of Gold Refiners and Mints in India. He has more than 35 years or more experience in the sector. Through his dedication, hard work, and commitment, he has been able to have the Association of Gold Refiners and Mints in India grow to a reputable association and grouping in the region. He brings to this platform this morning a massive experience in gold refinery and knowledge of the trade ecosystem. He also brings his massive experience in shaping the gold industry in India, promoting responsible sourcing, and also the strengthening of India's position in the global precious metals processing and trading system. For ICGLR, we are delighted to have such an eminent personnel to share his experience with us, and also to help us as we continue to advance and grow the ICGLR vision and goal in promoting sustainable and responsible sourcing of minerals from the Great Lakes region. With that said, I would like to call upon our guest speaker, Mr. Satish Bisel, to present his presentation. Sir. Dear distinguished delegates and colleagues on the platform, we seem to be having a challenge connecting with our next presenter. Give us 2 minutes to try to see if we can still manage to connect, and we'll come back to you. IT, please.
Electric vehicles, laptops, mobile phones, these high-tech gadgets are revolutionizing our century. Behind those technological marvels lie essential minerals found in the Great Lakes region, such as copper, cobalt, lithium, tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold. But beyond these highly sought-after resources, there is a much darker reality. It is the hidden side of modern technology, one that is too often overlooked. The extraction and trade of raw material frequently fueled armed conflicts, finance rebel groups, and involve serious human rights violations as highlighted by the ICGLR. These issues plague the Great Lakes region, already struggling with recurring social conflicts, geopolitical tensions, and humanitarian crises. On December 15, 2006, the 12 member states of the ICGLR adopted a regional protocol to combat the illegal exploitation of natural resources. The goal? To end the financing of rebel groups through revenue from mineral resources. To turn the protocol's commitment into specific actions, the ICGLR implemented the regional initiative against the illegal exploitations of natural resources. These operational frameworks aim to enhance traceability, transparency, and governance in the region's mining sector. This initiative is built around 6 key tools designed to regulate the mining sector and combat illicit mineral trade. 1. The Regional Certification Mechanism, a system that ensures responsible and traceable mining through mandatory certification for 3 TG minerals such as tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold, which are crucial to industries such as electronics, aerospace, automotive, and jewelry. 2. Harmonization of legislation. Member states align their law to establish a coherent and effective regulatory framework for the mining sector. 3. Regional Mineral Flow Database, a digital tool that tracks production and trade volumes, ensuring transparency and control. 4. Formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining. Integrating artisanal miners into a regulating system to secure their work and prevent black market activities. 5. Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Member states commit to transparency by publishing contracts and revenues from their extractive sectors. 6. Rapid Alert Mechanism, a platform for citizens to report illegal activities and human rights violations in mining areas. Fighting the illegal exploitation of natural resources is a collective responsibility. Governments, businesses, and citizens all have a role to play. To obtain authorizations for issuing certificates, member states must meet essential conditions. Establish national legal and regulatory frameworks for implementing the LCM. Develop an institutional framework that includes mine site inspections and mineral supply chain monitoring. Create procedural instruments and manuals such as inspection sheets. Implement a regulatory framework for mineral traceability systems. Set up a national mineral flow database linked to the regional database at the ICGLR Secretariat. Enforce export procedures that comply with LCM standards for issuing ICGLR certificates. To this day, 5 member states, which means DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania and Uganda, have adhered to the LCM. Before the ICGLR regional certification mechanism, local exporters struggled with credibility, often seen as fueling conflicts.
Yeah, esteemed colleagues, we have failed to have a streamlined and clear line with our colleagues from India. And nevertheless, in the interest of time, we'll go on to the third session. And when our colleagues are back online, we'll revert back to the second session on regulatory frameworks and gold importation. For now, we move on to third session, and I'm happy and pleased to introduce you to the moderator for the event. Her name is Julia Maria Feza. She is the Mineral Resource Governance Advisor at GIZ. She has massive experience in responsible mineral supply chains, with experience in Rwanda, Burundi, and Ethiopia. She holds a master's degree in public policy from the Haiti School of Governance in Berlin. She also has a number of certificates, and one critical to this process is the certificate in Sustainable Supply Chain Management from the University of Cambridge. She will take us through this discussion where we look at and explore the role of responsible trade in fostering economic growth, peace, and security in the Great Lakes region. She has a team of able experts and presenters who highlight the impact of ICGLR regional certification mechanism on gold exports and the importance of this mechanism in combating illegal resource exploitation. She will also bring in on board the role of civil society in promoting entrepreneurship, opportunities for the youth, value addition, and also women in mining issues. This session to us is very critical, for it opens up to the discussion of the role of the private sector and civil society organization in our process of implementing the RNR. And with that said, I humbled and delighted to call upon my colleague, Julia Maria, to take us through this important session. And she will also introduce her panel in that regard. Thank you very much. Ma'am, I submit.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mali, and hello, everyone. It is a great pleasure of mine to be moderating this session. Thank you for the kind introduction. Yes, exactly. So we will be kickstarting a new discussion that is much more focused on civil society and private sector perspectives. Obviously, the past 2 hours of the discussion have been focused around the role of governments and intergovernmental organizations and regulations in responsible mineral trade. But the equation would not be complete if we didn't have a look as well at the private sector and at civil society. So with that said, we will be discussing about the impact of the ICGLR regional certification mechanism on gold exports, on the importance of combating illegal resource exploitation for regional stability, as well as on the role of society in promoting entrepreneurship opportunities for youth and women in the mining sector. And that said, I would like to introduce our panelists for this discussion. On the one hand, we have Professor Prudence Bararou-Nyeretse, He holds a doctorate degree in environmental science and engineering, as well as a master's degree in environmental science and a postgraduate diploma in business management with a specialization in commercial and industrial management. He is furthermore a research professor at the University of Burundi and currently serves as the Dean of the Faculty of Science. He has over 15 years of experience and specializes in monitoring due diligence in the mineral supply chain, especially within the Great Lakes region. Furthermore, he is also the honorary president and expert consultant for a coalition of NGOs from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, from Burundi, Uganda, and Rwanda, who are working in partnership with the ICGLR, but also with the OECD, with GIZ, and Impact, as well as other key stakeholders. So that said, Professor Prudence Bararunieretse, welcome to the panel. I would like to proceed introducing our second panelist of the day, or of the session. Since November 2014, Mr. Cyril Mutombo has been the country director of Barrick and Kibali Gold Mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He joined Barrick just over 15 years ago as Director of Social and Sustainable Development, a capacity in which he has successfully led the relocation of 4,200 families with a related infrastructure to Kibali. Being an expert in development with almost 20 years of experience in mining, Cyril Mutombo holds a bachelor's degree in economics and development from the Catholic University of Congo, as well as a master's degree in development studies from the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa, and a master's degree in project management from the University of Liverpool. Cyril Mutombo has ample knowledge of the African continent, where he has worked in several countries. So I think we're delighted and blessed to have you with us today. I understand, if I may double check with the organizers, Mr. Jacob Ayeru, the third panelist of the session, is not with us. Is that correct? Dr. Mali or Gérard, just to confirm if Mr. Ayeru is with us or not.
He's there.
Oh, he's there.
He's
oh,
with us.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Mr. Ayeru, thank you so much. I'm delighted to introduce you as well. Mr. Jacob Ayeru is the chairperson of the National Youth Council of Uganda and president of the Great Lakes Region Youth Forum. He also sits on the Youth Advisory Panel of the Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, and represents Uganda in the NAM Youth Organization. He has previously served as the third East African Community Youth Youth Ambassador for Uganda. And also he was one of 18 members of the African Union Youth Front on the coronavirus in 2020, as well as of the AU-EU Youth Working Group in 2021. So his educational background is in the field of mechanical engineering, which he attained a degree about at Makerere University. So with this, yes, I'm delighted to start the session, and maybe if I may turn directly to Professor Prudence Bararunieretse. I think it would be very valuable to understand from your perspective as a member of civil society in the Great Lakes region, how do you think would combating the illegal exploitation of natural resources contribute to peace and security and to the promotion of in the region? And maybe linked to that as well, what do you, Professor, over to you.
Merci beaucoup, cher modérateur, de m'accorder la parole. Je voudrais d'emblée préciser que j'ai été président de la société civile, mais aujourd'hui, je ne le suis pas. Je me présente comme président d'honneur. Et par rapport à la thématique, il faut reconnaître, et c'est déjà connu, que nos pays sont riches en ressources naturelles, mais que, en même temps, les pays de la CIRGL affichent de très mauvaises performances en ce qui est de différents indices comme l'indice de développement humain durable, l'indice de perception de la corruption, l'indice de fragilité et l'indice de sécurité, en ce qui est de l'attraction des investissements directs étrangers, la transformation minière et le taux d'électrification et d'infrastructures routières qui sont indispensables pour le développement du secteur minier. Et, et vraiment, ça, c'est une situation qui n'arrange pas le développement basé sur l'exploitation de ces ressources naturelles. Et donc, on se comprend tous que cette richesse est associée aussi à l'insécurité permanente qu'on observe dans la région, et ce qui donc crée un paradoxe entre la richesse en ressources naturelles et le bien-être des populations, la croissance économique et le développement durable. L'insécurité, la mauvaise gouvernance, la mauvaise gestion des ressources naturelles et la corruption associée à cette exploitation illégale qu'on observe dans la région ne profitent qu'à des bénéficiaires illégitimes, servant parfois à maintenir l'insécurité permanente qui les favorise. Et parmi les profiteurs potentiels et réels d'une telle situation, telle que nous l'observons d'ici et là, ça peut être notamment des acteurs informels et illégaux, y compris les réseaux criminels, les trafiquants clandestins et transnationaux. Il y a des investisseurs opportunistes et prédateurs, alors que on s'attendait à avoir des investisseurs sérieux à mesure de procurer des avantages comparatifs par rapport à ce secteur. Mais on comprend aussi qu'il y a des sociétés, des entrepreneurs complices de cette situation qui sont corrupteurs. Et il y a des sociétés écrans qui s'installent dans la région, et il y a aussi des entrepreneurs, des sociétés liées à des dirigeants corrompus, et on a des investisseurs des pays étrangers avec des visées stratégiques non avouées, et on a des groupes armés et des milices locales, et ainsi des réseaux mafieux de financement des conflits. Et donc, en somme, on a des acteurs qui sont insouciés des impacts sociaux et environnementaux dans la région. Et face à cela, il faut reconnaître, évidemment, comme les précédents présentateurs l'ont mentionné, la prise de conscience nationale, régionale, internationale qui a conduit à la mobilisation des acteurs nationaux, régionaux et internationaux et la conjugaison des efforts de changement positif à travers différents mécanismes qu'on vient d'évoquer, mais avec le point commun qu'il fallait une amélioration et une optimisation de la gestion des ressources minières, la transformation locale des ressources et la création des valeurs ajoutées locales, la diversification de l'économie, la gestion environnementale locale durable, l'amélioration des capacités techniques et humaines dans le secteur minier, la transparence et la bonne gouvernance des ressources naturelles, la prévention des conflits associés à l'exploitation des ressources naturelles, et faire de ce secteur un réel moteur de croissance, de développement de la région. Mais malgré l'engagement des chefs d'État, des gouvernements et l'appui des acteurs régionaux et internationaux, on peut se poser évidemment nombreuses questions sur le succès de ces efforts déjà déployés. On vient de le mentionner, et il y a peu de pays qui ont déjà adhéré à l'initiative sur la transparence de l'industrie extractive, et le mécanisme régional lancé il y a plus de 10 ans semble ne pas bien marcher. Il y a la formalisation de l'exploitation minière artisanale qui n'est pas encore effective. L'harmonisation des cadres politiques et réglementaires n'est pas encore effective, et les disparités qui s'observent au niveau des différents pays, notamment au niveau des régimes fiscaux et redevances minières, impactent négativement sur la sécurisation de la chaîne d'approvisionnement et sont parmi les causes de spéculation et du trafic illicite de substances minérales. Il n'est pas rare d'entendre des pays de la ICGLR qui accusent d'autres pays voisins et membres de la même communauté de favoriser le transit illicite des substances minérales extraites dans leur territoire. Et cela laisse penser que la coopération et la communication entre les États eux-mêmes et entre les États et les acteurs finaux de la chaîne d'approvisionnement n'est pas au bon fixe. Des zones minières ne sont pas sécurisées comme c'est le cas en RDC. Le contrôle des sites miniers par les groupes armés anéantit tous les efforts de bonne gouvernance et de gestion minière dans les zones concernées au niveau de notre région. Et les initiatives déjà prises ne tiennent pas en compte une large gamme de substances minérales parce qu'on considère que les 3T et l'or et on met à côté d'autres alors qu'elles aussi peuvent être source de problèmes comme pour les 4 autres. Le mécanisme ou initiative de la ICGLR ne prévoit pas clairement des stratégies et des mesures de correction ou de sanction en cas de non-respect des stratégies prises en commun. Et les communautés locales des zones minières se plaignent souvent de ne pas être bien impliquées dans la gestion de l'exploitation minière et de ne pas en bénéficier. Cette faible implication ne favorise pas la lutte contre l'exploitation illégale des ressources naturelles. Dans ces conditions, nous ne pouvons que demander aux différents acteurs de la chaîne d'approvisionnement en substances minérales, y compris les consommateurs finaux, de doubler d'efforts pour lutter contre l'exploitation illégale des ressources naturelles. Et parce que cela permettrait de réussir les initiatives de paix et de sécurité qui sont indispensables pour la stabilité politique et juridique, la réduction des coûts d'exploitation et la facilitation de l'accès aux investissements, la stimulation de l'économie locale et la croissance économique et le développement communautaire et national dans notre région. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Prudence. Merci de partager votre point de vue. I would like to continue and hand over to Mr. Jacob Eyeru, our representative of the Youth Forum. Mr. Jacob, I hope you can hear me. My question would be, as the chair of one of the ICGLR regional fora, namely the Youth Forum, how do you think would the fight against the illegal exploitation of natural resources contribute to peace and security in the region? And most importantly, promote entrepreneurship opportunities for youth and women in the mining sector in the region? Mr. Jacob Eyeru, over to you. Is Mr. Eyeru with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Thank you. I'm very happy I've been able to join visa appointments. So it's good that finally also I have to thank the Secretary of the ICGLR for putting this webinar together. Together with our partners, I think this is very important. If not one of the most important questions for the Great Lakes region is how do we manage resources? And as a president of Regional Youth Forum, this is at the heart of the reality of the young people in the region of the Great Lakes. Wherever it is, whether it is within the Congo or all the countries that are still managing heavy mineral deposits, young people are questioning where are the minerals from, how are the minerals managed, and how do we track what has happened to the minerals, who are the actors, how do we get opportunities? These questions are at the center of youth development in the Great Lakes region, and for that reason, the ICGLR initiative to stop or to fight the illegal exploitation of minerals is about the future of the young people of the Great Lakes region. just about 2 points I want to make on why this fight is important for young people. First and foremost, the value of well-exploited, legally exploited minerals is always higher than the value of the black market. And that means that that controlled environment could provide professional job opportunities, professional development opportunities for young people, and that's able to help everyone across the board in the youth population gain from the full exploitation of the mineral resources. Starting from the research basis, professionalizing that, going all the way to the mining, going all the way to the service and value addition for those minerals, and the export or the marketing of those minerals. Young people would be able to be along the value chain as beneficiaries, but also as active participants in a sector that they see as a viable sector. Everything that looks viable, that's legally backed, that is well regularized and regulated, is able to look be seen as an aspiration for young people of the region to participate in for their future, but also to look at as a tool that they can utilize to develop their countries going forward. The second point I want to make is that that sector of minerals is not just rumored, but is well known by young people in the Great Lakes as the major cause of the challenges in security and peace in the region. The idea that Congo suffers because of the deposits there is what all the young people, and if I can quote the chairperson of the Youth Council of the Congo, when we were having a gold conference, the ICGLR gold conference in 2024 in Kinshasa, the young man said that we are suffering because of our wealth. It is because we are rich that we are having this suffering. So conflict minerals are a big issue for young people. And in fact, young people feel that management of the illegal exploitation is directly tied to the attainment of peace and security in the Great Lakes region. I couldn't agree more, because that is what young people aspire to. Young people aspire to a region that is more capable in terms of its peace initiatives, but also more capable in terms of its returns from its mineral wealth. And I think those two are the areas that young people would be most involved in. How does that feed into the peace and security question we have? One, very many more young people will not have to think about how they are going to pick a gun if they know that the minerals will eventually lead to social services, lead to more investment that is controlled and create more opportunities for them. But there's another issue that is very important for young people, and that is the quality of work. Many of the young people, given the natural resources in the Great Lakes, are in the informal areas of exploitation. When we're talking about artisanal miners, you'll find largely women and young people, not the big rich people who wait for the products to come out and then be able to act as women. So for the exploitation to be better cared for, to be legalized, for the frameworks to be followed, certification mechanism of the ICGLR being utilized to the full, will enable young people have decent work in the sector, and the potential of that work to create jobs along the value chain is enormous, given the level of deposits that sits in the Great Lakes region. The more important question is, are young people able to get the right skills for that decent work? And I think the reason why we are not having highly skilled young people in the region, in the mining sector, is because they actually do not see how they can get into that mining sector. When you talk about mining in the Great Lakes, many of the people in Zambia are talking about the copper belt, and that's because the peace there exists. But for the Congo, where there is no peace, people are talking more about the war there and the minerals being linked to the war there, as opposed to the opportunities that are provided by the cobalt and its contribution to the global circuits market. And that's the biggest issue. So if we can do that, that would be a very good thing. The other thing that would be helpful is that the idea that Africa always exports raw materials would be managed better by the change of the legal framework around mining. If we are able to ensure that we have stopped the illegal exploitation, then we are able to guarantee that value addition is possible. But when it is illegal, value addition chains cannot be emphasized because no one wants to use them, because that means you're going to be tracked down. And some of the initiatives, like the certification that the ICGLR has gotten, are helping a whole lot in serving that. And then people want to see that progress. They want to hope that with the presence of leadership in the Great Lakes, we are making progress that we can pick up from. So for us, it's extremely important that the countries that have not yet taken up the regional certification mechanism take it up, and that would demonstrate the willingness, the political will, the economic will, the technical will for the young people's future in the Great Lakes region to be guaranteed. The final point I want to make is basically to thank the leadership at ICGLR. And I think that's because we have insisted that we always have to ask the gender question. How many women are on the policy table, are in the conversation? Because that makes up for more than 50% of the workforce in the mines. How many young people who make up over 80%, that's women and men, make up over 80% of actual miners because they need younger energy to go down the mines or to dig up the ore. Those people should have a voice at the high level is very important, and that we should keep that voice alive so we can hear their own aspirations firsthand, hear how they see the sector is very important, and also see the pain in their eyes and the hope in their voices to say, how can we get our areas, our minds, our resources working for us, to fund education, to fund job creation, to fund the health sector, and to give the young African hope. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacob, for this very passionate plaidoyer. Obviously, when we talk about job creation, employment, value addition in the region, we have to talk about and with the private sector. And this is why I would like to bring to stage our last panelist of this session, Mr. Cyril Mutombo. Mr. Cyril, I hope you can hear me. My question for you would be, as a gold exporter that has undergone the ICGLR third-party audit, how does the implementation of the regional certification mechanism by a mining company like Kibali Gold guarantee access to international gold export markets? And consequently, how does this promote economic growth and job creation in the Great Lakes region? So over to you, Mr. Mutombo. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia, and thank you very much to all the attendants to this session. This is a very good example to be raising and sharing, the Kibali example. We are in a region that has been affected by instability, as some of the speakers have mentioned it here. And having a mine like Kibali, which at first, maybe you would just allow me to give a very slight background. It's located in the northeast of the DRC, and we have 10 mining permits. It covers the area of close to 1,800 kilometers square. It is owned by three major stakeholders, the state through Sokimo, Anglo Gold, Ashanti, and Barrick. And Barrick is the operator, so we do operate that mine. And these three actors or shareholders have invested an amount of up to $3.5 billion just to erect that mine and get it existent as it is. And it is the biggest gold mine in Africa, one of the biggest in the world. So imagine bringing such a big investment in a region like that one. So we started just over 15 years ago, and that was from a feasibility study, and then erected the mine. And again, we are not very far from the conflict, as some have said here in the presentation. And we have erected a plant of a capacity of up to 7 million metric tons per year, which it processes. And over the last 8 years, the production has been around 20 tons of gold. That is an enormous amount of money that has to flow. And we employ over 6,500 people. And in terms of economic contribution in the DRC, we've made over $5 billion US contribution, of which 2.3 have gone into suppliers and 1.5 just in paying taxes and on all that. So when you take that context, it raises a number of questions, such as the reputational risk of the company that we represent, like Barrick. And operating in such an environment, you need things like the mechanism that we are talking about. This mechanism, the ICGLR mechanism, for which companies are willing to work with, and Kibali is one of the best examples, just to show how this mechanism has been able to work and set up an example that we are calling all the key actors to follow. And we do not do it alone. We do it with the state institution, and that's one of the main aspects that we have been working on, and that has been to work with the DRC institution. One of the panelists earlier this morning showed the certificate, the ICGLR certificate that the country have opted for. You've seen what the one for the DRC looks like, but how does it work in practice? So what we do is we have approached state institution, the CEC, which is the Centre d'Expertise et d'Évaluation du Congo. That center is the one that works with us from the onset. When we do our production, they are there to oversee that we do the production. They work with us, they come and oversee it. Once they've done that, they issue the initial certificates. They're not alone in that process. They are accompanied by some other state institutions, such as the OCC, l'Office Congolais de Contrôle, and the Division de Mines, which also work. Once they oversee the whole process after the production of the gold bars or the doré, which we produce, then they issue us with that certificate. When we have the certificate, the ICGLR, it puts us in a position to then export the gold. Then the customs would go ahead and issue us with the authorization to get that gold and send it out. Once, and they do that with the Division de Mines, the mining division. And once they've done that, then we have all the authorization. Then we approach the central bank, which then issues us with the export license. Once you have the export license, it means you can get your gold out. And through all that process, there is also some payment notes that are issued. Once you settle the payments notes and all these government institutions are through the process, then you are entitled to get your gold out of the country. They double check it, they issue it with the certificate of transport, and then the customs allows it to fly out. And once it flies out, that's the first part. The central banks also follows, because then once you get the gold sold, the money comes, the central banks through the Forex regulation d'échange, they make sure how that money is utilized, how it comes back. They can trace all your payment, they can trace everything that is being done, and they make sure that you do comply and abide with all the rules, specifically the ones that are related to the country. So that's one of the key aspects that we have been able to establish with Kibali. The other important aspect still related to the ICGLR mechanism is on the formalization, for instance, of the artisanal miners. Kibali has worked a lot with the DRC institution, especially the Ministry of Mines, and on all the parties, SESCAM, which is the body which regulates the artisanal miners. We went on to help them formalized some sites. We help them. As you know, sometimes these state institutions fall short of means. So what we did was, with our geologists, we identify some sites which had potential. Once we identified those sites, we approached government. They went through the whole process. The site got formalized, and then all the artisanal miners that were working, instead of allowing them to work on our permits, which is not allowed by the law, we directed them through these illegal sites, these artisanal sites. That reduces potential for tension, and that also helps us to be at peace with these communities, especially in a region where you have conflicts arising all over the place. And as I keep saying, DRC is a country with huge potential. You do not get it when you hear that there is only one big industrial mine, which is Kibali. The rest are small sites, and that really allows for conflict, allows for a number of things. So the other good thing that we've done with Kibali was the third-party audit, which we did in 2022 with the Burundi office. They came, and that's something that also helped us to do. And that is part of all our disclosure mechanism as a company, and auditing is part of those. So we do the normal audit, as you know, ISO and all these other audits. So we also went on to do that audit. And at last, we do disclose all this information to all our key stakeholders through press conferences, through the reports that we issue, so that authorities and everyone is aware, not only authorities, communities, every single stakeholders is aware of what we're trying to do or what we're doing, and they can tie it up with all the production that we do. So in summary, that is what we have done. And today we are very proud of what we've set in that region, an economic frontier, which has created enormous business opportunity, with which is now busy diversifying that area. So that's in summary how this mechanism has helped us erect one of the biggest gold mines in the world. And we believe this is something that can be copied to make sure that we roll out the agenda of peace in that entire Great Lake regions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monsieur Cyril. If I may allow one follow-up question. We have talked a lot about the role of governments, of regulations. If I may ask from your private sector perspective, if there's anything you would wish for, any gaps you see, or anything you would wish for governments and regulators to address in order to promote this common agenda of responsible mineral exploitation and trade in the region. If there's anything you can share, I think that would be highly valuable. I think you're on mute, Monsieur Cyril. Oh, Cyril, I think you're still on mute. I'm sorry. I don't hear you. Yes. No, sorry. You're still on mute.
Is it working now?
Yes. Ça va.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I was saying there's a number of things that we believe the state can help with. One of those is to control the mechanism, for instance, of formalizing the artisanal mining sites. Not only formalizing, but increasing the number of these sites. When you look at a region like Province Oriental or Otuele, where we operate, and you add the Kivus, the number of artisanal miners we have, for instance, is way bigger compared to the number of zone artisanal, d'exploitation artisanal or artisanal mining sites. So the first thing that we personally want government or encourage government to do is to have most or a lot of these sites. That creates or reduces tension between, for instance, the actors, the private sector, which we are, and also it creates another class, which is the medium class, to promote them into business. And that is very, very helpful, because when you look at the reasons of war in the Great Lake regions, is these people come warlords, for instance, they easily get through these illegal mining sites. They work, they fund, and then they get an entry port into these. And that is where government is very vulnerable, because it's an open door, which adds up to instability. So it is very, very important to understand that they have a big role to play into increasing the number of these illegal sites. The second thing is improving on the regulation. You've spoken about the harmonization of the internal country laws. We need these laws to talk to each other. We have a number of rules that sometimes contradict. You have a process that has been established. When you approach the regulator, or you try to apply it as you understand it, they oppose you with another law, which sometimes creates a lot of sources of a lot of tension between us and the officials. So harmonization is something that needs to be pushed very, very quickly to make sure that internal regulation of the different countries talk to each other and also talk to the other countries. We are in a region with more than close to 9 countries. It will be good that these laws are not conflicting against each other, intra-country and extra-country as well. So once we have those two, there's definitely more things that can be done. But once we have those two, it will clear up the whole mechanism. And the third one is to promote enterprises that are good. When you look at the issuing of the permits today, everyone gets issued with a permit. I'm not saying it because I'm Barrick and I want all the permit to come to Barrick, but when you have a company like Barrick, a company that complies, that really has that kind of thinking, it is good to promote these type of countries to be operating in the zone, because you look at the impact of just one single company. Imagine having 10 like Kibali in that region. It boosts peace. In 2009, when we arrived, we had a load-resistant army, which were operating, but just by the fact that we established the mine, we built the road, we constructed everything, it created a peaceful environment, and the load-resistant army haven't been operating in that region for many, many years. So attracting proper investor like the Barricks, like the proper companies in this region is something that can also help with the state, and they need to review their issuing of the permits mechanisms to make sure that the permits do not land in the hands of people that are there to sabotage the peace agenda. Those are the three I will put on the table. There is definitely more than these three, which other people can also add to.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Much appreciated. And thank you everyone in the panel. I think this was a very important panel also to complement all the information that we received from government and representatives and the ICGLR previously. I'm wondering, maybe with a view to the organizers, we have received several questions, I think, in the chat. I'm wondering how to proceed with that, also looking at the time. Maybe Dr. Mali or Gérard, if we could get some orientation.
Thank you, Julia. Looking at the time, I think we'll proceed to closing. Then the team will continue responding, and we have responded to most of the questions in the chat. But I'd like to thank you and the panel. We can now move to the closing of the session. With that said, as we come to the close of our first ICGLR webinar for 2025, under the theme Enhancing Mineral Wealth for Regional Peace, ICGLR's commitment to ensuring the mitigation of any ending of illegal exploitation of natural resources in the Great Lakes region. I would like to thank my moderator, Julia Maria, and I also like to thank in a special way our guest speakers, Philip, Commissioner Grace, Mr. Gerard Nai Burundi, our able partners from India, Satish, Professor Prudence, our youth president Jacob, and also Director Mutombo, for finding time away from their busy schedules to share their vision for the region, their experience, and their commitment to ensuring that we together harness mineral wealth for regional peace. It's a daunting task, but not surmountable. It's a task which together, if we continue along this journey, we'll be able to attain. I would also like to thank the 70 delegates who joined this webinar this morning. It shows their individual commitment to the process and to the cause of changing the narrative of the region from a sphere of conflict to a sphere of prosperity and development, a sphere where mineral resources are used for the welfare of its people. Allow me also to thank the team behind the organization of this webinar. Without them, we would not have had this wonderful morning together. I would like also to thank our partners, GIZ, Impact, Netherlands Embassy, and the EU for their usual support and both financial and technical. Above all, their warmth that we receive from them during such meetings. We thank you. Please, if there are any questions which would have been left unanswered, please reach out to our team. They will put the email addresses there for Fiona and also for Gerard. Get their email address and send those questions to us. However, if there are areas also which you think we can improve on, areas which you think the next webinar can cover, feel free to share those thoughts with us. It is through your suggestions and recommendations that we improve our programming and also our deliverance of service to the region. With that said, and on behalf of the ICGLR management, I would like to thank you and wish you well the rest of the day. I thank you. Bye for now.